trust me, there's some gorgeous Africans in Atlanta. If I would like to date one, I'll do that. If there's some gorgeous Asians, whoever, Hispanics, whoever, I'm single, fabulous, and can date who I want. My thing with Claudia was saying that I was dating a married man, which goes against my morals. I was married. And in my relationship, I didn't know I was being cheated on until afterwards.
You were cheated on?
After the fact, I found out there were some things that had happened in my marriage, yes.
As a former journalist, I will not bring up things that I do not know to be true. And actually in the Philippines, you actually confessed when we were all drinking the night we went out to the club. You said, I'm glad you didn't say this other one because that's someone I've been holding out for 2 years. That is married. And we're not going to say names, sweetheart, but there was more than one person around. So please don't backtrack now that you have all this virtue and character when you did tell me in the Philippines. Mind you, it was after a few drinks, but you told me.
At the end of the day, you may be a journalist. Whatever you are, you're on the radio now. Focus on that and not make me your project.
You're not
Period.
my project.
And that's what you have done this entire
I feel
season.
sorry for you.
You do?
I feel sorry for you.
Of what part of my life do you feel sorry for?
I feel sorry that you think that you won't want to rely on what talent you have, where you don't have to get the extra bonuses.
Let me tell you something about my gifts. Let me tell you something about my gifts.
They're not blessings from God.
They were developed in my mother's womb.
When you're messing with a married man,
I'm very blessed. I'm very talented.
Porsha,
I will not let anyone in this
I'm sure
group,
you're talented, but what?
Since I was married, been there, done that.
Claudia, do you know any
you
of these African men?
On me.
Do you know any of these African men?
We have a couple of mutual friends, and one of them is a friend of the guy. And she also admitted
what I would like her to do before we continue, because this is going into slanderous territory.
So file a lawsuit against me if you about that life.
What's up? Welcome back to the Being Beautifully Honest channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and hit the notifications bell so you know whenever I do upload a new episode. Now, this seems to be the story that will not die anytime soon. We will see where it goes, but we are going to be talking about Porsha Williams, her current fiance, and also current husband, because he is not legally divorced, husband of, she says, not her friend, but was presented as her friend on this most recent season of The Real Housewives of Atlanta, Fallon Guabadia, and her fiance is Simon Guabadia. This is crazy, and I'm just here to say to the Porsha defenders, I am not jealous, okay? I am so sick of people that want to always make something about jealousy when you have a dissenting view on someone's actions that they are presenting to the public. When you put things out there on Front Street and people say, oh, you don't have the right to judge. No, when you put things out there like this, people are going to have an opinion about it, whether their opinion matters or not, whether their opinion is going to cause your relationship to dissolve or to blast off into the universe and, be successful. Of course, that really doesn't matter, but people are going to have opinion about it. So yeah, people are going to judge. So I don't think she really cares, and that's fine. But I am here to speak about it, and I'm just here to say that just because someone has a dissenting view on her actions does not make them jealous and want to be in her situation. Because I'm going to be the, I don't want to say I'm the first one to say it, but I'm going to say it first here, okay? Being beautifully honest, I don't want that. Not every female and not every Black woman, Caucasian woman, Asian woman, whatever, not every woman is looking for a come up and a bag. Am I here to say if you're going to be in a relationship, you should be struggling and scratching and surviving like they did on Good Times? No, I'm not saying that either. Just because someone who is outside of the country wants to marry someone who is in the United States does not mean that they want to just come to America. Sometimes they actually really do love that person and they want to get married. Because there's a huge stereotype out there that says that everyone who wants to marry someone who is in the United States is only doing it because they want a green card. They may want that too, but that doesn't mean that that is the only reason they're doing it. And so I'm just using that as an example to say, just because someone is in a relationship with someone that has money does not mean that they're only with them for the money. But I am here to say, in this situation, it doesn't look to be that way. And I'm not even saying that Fallon was with her husband just because she loved him and it wasn't because of the money, because she was much younger than him, or is much younger than him as well. Very, very attractive young lady. And that is the thing with a lot of these lopsided relationships. You have the older guy who's got the money, who's got, the status, and can give, a beautiful woman a come up, because it is rare. And, it is rare that they are going to get with someone that society deems as unattractive or much older or whatever. I mean, it just seems to be that way, and it kind of is what it is. But when she said that the optics looks crazy, yeah, the optics looks crazy, but it actually is a crazy situation. We probably wouldn't even be really talking about this as much as we are talking about it if it were not for the optics and the actions, period. Because maybe if it were, a few years after the fact that she got with this guy, and it just so happened that Fallon was someone that they presented, the show, I should say, presented to us as them two being friends. And, they're not in a marriage anymore. He's since been divorced, moved on, and they just started hanging out, chilling, becoming more acquainted with each other, and then they get in a relationship. Then people probably wouldn't be talking about it as much. I'm not saying no one would be speaking about it, because of course people would. But I mean, she says that after 30 days of dating, they're engaged. And we just saw her chilling out at their house. He was sitting poolside watching all of these ladies in the pool. I mean, the optics look horrible. So yeah, but I want to say, besides not every woman not, being jealous of Porsha and wanted to be in her situation, because not every woman has, can be bought, period. And take that how you want to take it. But that's true. Not every woman can be bought. There are some women who actually do have standards, who do have morals, who do have integrity. I'm just here to say I don't believe Porsha embodies any of that. She embodies the personality of someone who is extremely selfish and is out for the continual come up, period. And Claudia Jordan was right about her. And I know a lot of people love to hate on Claudia Jordan. I know a lot of people, say a lot of negative things about her. But I actually, not just even recently, gained a lot of respect for her. But I didn't know a whole lot about her prior to her being on the, I believe it was the seventh season, I believe, of The Real Housewives of Atlanta. But I gain even more respect for her lately, and I'm going to play a clip of something that she said, and I was just like, applause, kudos, cheers. You're speaking the truth.
It's really a bad look, and she's been dragged like a lot these last few days. And in closing, I want to say this to the people that are the hypocrites on social media. I see, if you like the person, you will excuse having raw dog sex with a stripper, being with your homegirl's man, all kinds of stuff, dragging people, beating people up. You'll make excuses for it. Oh, she's young, she's living her life, she's single. But if you don't like the person, a la me, a la Kenya, a la Eva Marcel, you will take any little thing and you will make that person the devil. My thing is this: wrong is wrong and right is right. And the way you have credibility, if y'all out there in social media world, keep the same energy and the same measuring stick. If something's wrong for Kenya or for anybody else, it's wrong for Porsha. Yes, she's charming and cute and she's adorable and all that kind of stuff, but that don't make the shit right. It ain't right. And I feel bad for Fallon. I really do. Because she got to see this shit play out and all these, I choose love. No one loves nobody after a month. You don't love no one after 2 months.
Now, on that season, Porsha did not hold a peach. She was considered to be a friend of the show. And this happened, I don't know if it was punishment because of what she did to Kenya at that reunion. But Porsha has been shown as being a spoiled brat, very selfish. And I was starting to gain a little bit of respect for her when she was doing her protesting. I wouldn't really even call her an activist, because I believe someone who has the title of an activist that's like what their life really is about. Like, they're devoting their life to that. And I'm not saying that an activist can't have fun and be carefree and all of that different stuff, but that's the difference between an activist and someone who just, participated in a couple of protests. And I'm starting to believe, and this is my opinion, I'm just being honest about it as beautifully as possible. I'm starting to believe that, I'm not saying she didn't believe what she was protesting for, but I am starting to believe that a lot of it was for the show, and that it was for show. And also to change the narrative on her being an airhead, not knowing anything about the Underground Railroad, her being the granddaughter of a civil rights true activist who actually did serve as an activist and devote a good majority of his life to do that, Hosea Williams. Just because your family participated in things doesn't mean that you're supposed to do the same thing, especially if that's not in your heart to do that. But she did just present herself in a way throughout these several seasons as someone who has been catered to, who has been treated like a child, patting her on the head and saying, you can't beat people up in an alley. You know what I mean? Like, you can't kick people in the crotch and all kinds of stuff that she has been doing. You can't drag people by their hair to the ground and all the other stuff. Like, she has been violent on this show. She has been. And people will give her a pass and say, well, Kenya shouldn't have put those things in her face. She was provoking her. I'm not here to defend Kenya either. I'm not saying Kenya was right. But that was just the first time that we saw her doing that. She's done that on a number of occasions after that. But at that reunion, what bothered me more so about it, not even just what she did to Kenya, but what bothered me even more about it was the fact that the majority of the women, except for Cynthia, rallied around Porsha, and I believe it was Carlos King. He came out there and picked her up like a baby and carried her in his arms to the back, and she's crying, and I can't believe she made me go there. I mean, it was blaming somebody else for the actions that you chose to take. And they were coddling her for it. No, they didn't allow her to return for the rest of the taping of the reunion, but she was brought back every season after that. And I get it, it's about the ratings and they have to draw people in, and she was, I guess, becoming a fan favorite. I really did like her at the first reunion when she was married to Cordell and Cordell didn't show up. And of course, this was filmed prior to her knowing, or she claims knowing, that Cordell had filed for divorce from her. And she said she found out on Twitter. Now, he claimed that that wasn't even true, and that's not how she really found out, but it was good for the storyline for her to say that. And I do remember him saying that when he met with Peter Thomas, who used to be married to Cynthia Bailey, on the show on that next season. But I'm rewinding a little bit. I gained a little bit of respect for her when she was speaking at that reunion, which was the first reunion she ever attended, and Cordell did not show up. And she was talking about how, I have my own beautiful body to look at, and I don't feel like it was right for them to try to put me down just because I don't want to go to a strip club and look up some stripper's crotch. I was like, yeah, girl, say that, because I'm one of those people too. I don't understand the appeal. If that's, what floats your boat, then do that. But I've never understood it. It's just not for me. I don't want to do it. And if people want to do that, that's fine. But, the appeal of going to a strip club, female going to a female strip club with your man or without your man and with, female friends, like, I don't even want to go to see men strip. That's just me. That's just me. And I don't want to say I'm a prude. I'm just extremely turned off by a lot of stuff. And I believe also because I'm also in the wellness and beauty industry, and I'm licensed to, do a lot of professional services like body waxing and things like that. I see body parts like how they function, not in a sexual way. And also I think about the funk, the flatulence, the sweat, all that stuff. I'm like, why are people paying money to have these people flap their there's sweaty breasts and butt in their face and all this other stuff. But that's the way I think. I understand everybody doesn't think that way, and so be it. But getting back to the topic at hand, I gained a little bit of respect for her when she was like, just let me speak. And she was talking to Nene and the other ladies and saying, this is how you treated me. And I was really trying to be genuine with you. And I just didn't really receive that back. And I applauded her for that. But ever since then, her selfishness has shown itself when she was supposedly kicked out of her house. And now I'm even starting to question that. Was she really kicked out, or did she just move out and so he decided to haul her things there? Because she hasn't shown herself to be credible a lot of times. So now I wonder, was that really just a storyline? I'm thinking back on these things now. And she told her mom, well, your bedroom has the bigger closet, so I was just wondering if I could stay in this room. And her mom didn't bat an eyelash, and she said, sure, that's fine. And immediately she started hauling her mom's stuff out of her closet and out of the dresser drawers so that she can make room for her stuff in the bigger bedroom and the bigger closet. Now, you may say, well, her mom said it was okay, but I'm just thinking about the self-absorbency of this girl. So with this situation with her so-called not friend Fallon, and she's just flaunting the relationship on social media, and she's like, I'm gonna stick by him, I'm gonna stick beside him. And now it's she's saying to Shamia, because Shamia commented on the photo, and Porsha said, thank you, bestie, best matchmaker ever. And it's like, okay, so I guess she finally got her African. We've never seen on the show Shamia's husband, but we do know that she did marry an African man. She had 2 weddings. She had the dowry ceremony, and I guess that happened in Africa, whatever country he's from. I don't know if they ever said. And then they also had their wedding here. Well, Porsha saying that she's her bestie, Porsha didn't go to the wedding. She didn't go to the wedding. She claimed that she could only fly first class and the tickets were too much money. But I mean, Porsha, she's not hurting for any cash. And if that's her best friend, and for her to not go to the wedding, I question that even more so now. It's like, were you really, just thinking about your health and your pockets, or were you jealous? And at the bridal, whatever the thing is called, you know what I'm talking about. the party, bridal shower that they did show on the Real Housewives of Atlanta that season. This was after the allegations that Porsha put out there about Kandi, and her husband came out, so Kandi wasn't wanting to deal with her in any way. Porsha was real standoffish with Shamia at the bridal party, and she left early. And so I, even looking back at that now, I'm thinking she probably was jealous. She wanted her African. She wasn't in a good place. She wasn't in a relationship at the time. Her goal was to have a baby. She hadn't had a baby yet. Her sister had beaten her to the punch. And so she just wasn't really happy. She saw a lot of the people that she was close to getting a lot of the things that she was seeing for herself and wanted to have for herself. So now Shamia hooked her up with her honey, her African rich man. But, she's not sticking by him. She's sticking by the cash. Period. So I don't want to make this go on too much longer, but I believe Claudia was right. I believe that Porsha was just really wanting the African, and even the things that she accused Kenya of being and doing, she was guilty of those things. She claimed Kenya was, having an African buy her a whatever, Bentley or whatever the car was, and all these things. And then Claudia came out and said, I know for a fact that the man that bought you the Rolls Royce was a married African man. I don't know if it was Simon. Claudia said that it's not. She actually said that on Hollywood Unlocked on the interview. And that interview was good. I'm actually going to tag that in my community feed, I believe. But that was a really good interview. And I gained so much more respect for Claudia Jordan even after that interview. But her holding her ground and standing her ground and not allowing people to call her a whore and all of these other things that Porsha and Nene were throwing in her direction on that season that she was a peach holder. Porsha's guilty of those things, but Porsha loves to call these things blessings. God don't work that way, sweetheart. The blessings are coming from between your legs, and let's just be real about it. But anyway, guys, let me know your thoughts about all of this in the comment section. Thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing. And until the next time, I'm just being beautifully honest.